Good evening, good evening, good evening. And we are here on another marvelous Wednesday. It was here with the weather feeling good. And I am here with my man coming all the way from South Bend, bending air as usual, all the way from where the Hoosiers, national champs, won in the backyard on the other side of town of his Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Good evening, post game. Appreciate you joining. How's it going for you this evening, sir?
Hey, it is beautiful, man. It's always a great time when we get together. Got the nice what ifs tonight, and I hope the people enjoy because we enjoy doing this for y'all. How you doing tonight, Moss? I feel marvelous.
Man, I'm feeling pretty good, man. And when you think about that applause, man, I know last week it came, like right in between after. I just be wanting the people to hear your echo in the room because it's moving, man. And I'm very blessed. I'm thankful to bring the people another great show this evening. And we've been heating up with this what if. And when it comes to the sports world, we know it's so much out there to talk about when you talk about what ifs, but we really like to dive in and have our little talks to give us things to really talk about more. And we appreciate everyone tuning in this evening, tuning in tonight as well, taking time out of your evening, whether you with your family or you just chilling, doing what you're doing, and tuning in with the guys here, WTP Sports Dudes, myself, MossBurgh, and post game as well. And we appreciate you tuning in and being here this evening. Official though, shout out to Grow Up Clothing Brand as well. And the first question on the slate, I think for me, one of the greatest. And before I get to that, man, shout out to Papa Whitmore in the building. My guy, MossBurgh, my guy, Mr. Whitmore in the building. We appreciate you birthing a legend and your son, young post, and as he say, mid post, low post, mid post, high post game sports, and you was able to give us this great gentleman to be able to be here tonight and throughout the week and since the first time meeting. So appreciate you being here this evening, and my son post MFing game. We appreciate you, and the support is always here, Mr. Whitmore as well, straight from C Bus, Mossburg in the building. And the first thing, and I think this is one post, I think this
Oh,
is gonna have the people shaking. Go ahead. I'm
be-
sorry.
before you get to that, man, I just want to say, man, shout out to Pop, man. I wish that I can share some stories about him on screen, but I don't
Man,
think that would be wise, with the YouTube guidelines. And I'm trying to actually get him on the string with us. He acting funny, man. But I'm
yes,
trying to
sir.
get him on the string with us. It's gonna be fireworks when he finally decides to come on. But I'm definitely trying to get him on. You gonna enjoy it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Can't wait to have him on, man. As much as he tuned in, he's been tuned in from the jump as you have been, and it's just a blessing. And he said, my twin, he's just looking better now. He get his looks from you, Papa. As they call one of the great late greats, rest in peace, the big man. So we're gonna get into it. We're not gonna hold the people up. My guy, there's time left before this decision come. I don't know if anyone heard any news. I haven't heard any news. I've been in the news about it. And my biggest what if for me coming from the sports this season, going into the off season, drafts around the corner, what if AJ the Panther stays at BYU? Give Provo another year of what we seen this year is greatness and more. What's your thoughts on what if AJ, the Panther, stays at BYU post game? Talk to me.
My goodness, man. If AJ DeBansa decides to stay in Provo for his sophomore season, his sophomore campaign, I think he would have a really great chance of winning National Player of the Year. And depending on how their roster is constructed, because they lost a lot, they did just get back their point guard in the portal, Robert Wright, I believe, decided to skip the portal and come back to BYU. But they're going to need to, if Dabasa does come back, they're going to need to surround that young man with some shooting, and they definitely need to get some bigs because they lost all their bigs. So as long as they continue to do the work in the portal, you got AJ Dabasa, probably the best player in college basketball coming into the season next year if he decides to stay. They do that, and the sky's the limit for BYU. Definitely. What's up, T1?
What it
In the
do?
building.
What it do?
In the building. Don't hold the people, City League TV,
Good.
T1. Ask somebody else, the man of many hats, so many names in the building. How's it good? It's good to see you with the day off, but the day working this evening.
You already know it's great to be seen, man, and it's great to see my brothers. You know, I lost track of time, and I always lose track of time, and I be trying to tell y'all, like, somebody got to give me a call. Because sometimes I'll be available, but like I tell my students, I also have ADD, ADHD. I got all the stuff y'all got because they be trying to make up excuses, and I let them know I got it too. You know what I mean? I had it since I was a kid, but I'll be forgetting. And I was on Facebook, and I looked at the time, and I said, my brothers is on. I got to get on there. And then I see you rocking City League today. And I already talked to you about, because I'm about to call you Moss Thumbnail Bird and Highlight Bird, because you've been out here working, man, and I see you working.
Appreciate it.
But we need that, though. You know what I mean? For where we're going, we need that.
I got you, man. Anytime, man. Any day, man. I've cleared my schedule for what we do. As I said, I think what we have is special. I remember the night we talked till 12:31 in the morning, not to get off subject, but in the building, man. We remember these talks in WTP in the comments, but it's just good to see you. And I'm ready to put that work in because I see the bigger picture. And we also got to tap into the coaches out there of City League, because I got a phone call this morning, and I think it's starting to happen right before our digits on our phone and as we are scrolling City League TV, T1. So we got to have that conversation. Coach's Corner, City League TV, and more with MossBurgh, Post, T1, and the homies for sure.
Yeah, it's like, hey, like that City League movement, it is really, really taking off. You know what I mean? And you know, I've been out, you know, trying to find editors and, you know, trying to find somebody to come in, and I haven't met that person. And I guess it's because it's supposed to stay in house. So, you know, I just moved the way God moved, and I've been seeing you work, Moss. And like I said in the text, man, like the podcast gonna get started before the football season, and we're gonna get out there during the football season and get to every team and talk to every coach and get ready to lay this hammer down, like, you know, it's got set up to be and do. So, you know, we just moving and grooving and moving along, and it's all gonna pop. Good to see y'all though. Let's go.
For sure.
Where y'all was at?
We talking about AJ Dabasa, and it's what if. It's part 4. And we've been talking about some good stuff. Why not talk about what if AJ Dabasa stays at BYU? I think we cooking with fish grease, because we know his pops, as we see Mr. Whitmore in the conversation in the chat. We know what parents do and how they are about athletes and their well-being, their education. And we see he have a great upbringing, and that's been a talk, his education being first over his basketball career. Not to mention BYU has one mega star coming in as well. After they just got AJ Dabasa #1, they have a #6 coming in this coming year as well.
They have money. That's because they have money. If you want to talk about what they have money, and apparently they're ready to spend it. And one thing that I've been talking about since they started this NIL thing was, why rush off to the NBA or the NFL or whatever or whatnot? Why rush off? Enjoy your life as a teenager and going into your early 20s. Enjoy your life. They're giving you a bag, get your degree, and then go off and do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. But get you an insurance policy just in case you get hurt. doing what you're supposed to be doing. But like a cat like AJ, your insurance policy is great. They already know what your potential is and the amount of money that you can make. So I really wish that these young men and women, well, the women can't go, but I wish these young men would stop going with eligibility left when they're allowed to make money. Make your money, get your degree, and then go. Enjoy these years because you'll never get them back.
Yes, sir. I totally agree. For me, I think I of course, being a BYU fan, some of it might be a little biased. Would love for him to come back and get his education. Of course, I would want to see him go pro. But I think overall, I want to see him come back. I've watched his story. I love what his parents are molding him to be. They're molding him to be that young man, like you speak on T1 City League. And I think that's something. I think if we have, like you say, and we've talked about that athlete that stays 4 years or be loyal to a university after they put so much into them, that could be something special building, and we never know what that could start in the years to come. We could wait and see athletes develop for the better version of them after those few years instead of going through that turmoil early in their career. Any other thoughts on this one post game?
No, I mean, you guys make great points, and I do agree with T1 that, nowadays with the bag these players are getting, it's like, what's the rush? But, fellas, when you projected numero uno, oh, man.
Yeah, right. That's when that post game. That's when that stuff gets thrown out the window. I don't care if it's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be 6, 7, 8, or 9 or 10. But we want them to get their education. But if you like number 1 or 2 or something, like, you better already have a bag and have mom and pops there and everything is great. And that's what I say about the education. But if you're number 1, there's nothing else for you to do on that level except for go and win a national championship for your university. And I like that part. I wish that we can get to that point to where these kids will stay and we can see teams develop or grow or whatever. Right now, it's all microwave teams who can put the best team together with the most amount of money, and that's who's going to win.
Yeah, agree. And it's good to see WTP Sports dudes in here. The man that put us all together, he said AJ would be making.
That's Rob, Mr. Brown, for y'all that don't know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And man, it's just something because we know how special he is, and when we heard that talk going around, it's like we got to talk about it. We got to, go to it and tap in a little bit. That's just me. The next one we got, we're gonna switch it over. And before I talk about this boxing, I want to shout out Linnell Walton, straight out of Columbus, straight here out of our city, man. Rest in peace to his pops, man, from the hood, and that is WTP, man. His son is one of the greatest in the world. That young man is on his way to something special. City League, I'm going to need you next week if I'm able to get this interview set up live with Coach Vonson, trying to get the homies all right at where it started at Lula Pearl, getting some of the training from some of the greats. And Coach Johnson, even Buster Douglas being there with the young fella. It's just good to see his career excelling. Somebody from our own backyard, their son being able to hold that torch and be a great at what he do. But we tapping in to another great.
Let me know.
I got you. Another great and another legend. And I watched many stories on this, and I thought, why not talk about it? What if we didn't get robbed of Ali's prime? And post game came to me with this one. And, I watched the story so many times, and I was like, we got to talk about it. I think it's the best thing since sliced bread to talk about it. I haven't really heard it talked about much myself. But what do you guys think? And I'm going to start with you, T1. What if we didn't get robbed of Ali's prime?
We would have just saw some more greatness, man. Ali was like one of the first, just one of the greatest sports entertainers of all time. And you have to throw that entertainment in there. And since he had the skills and the talent to box as well as he did, I mean, that just made it even better. And I'm one of them conspiracy theorists to where I feel like they did something to Mr. Ali, and because they did something to him in his prime, and that's what we're talking about right now. About what if that wouldn't have happened? He didn't want to go fight in some type of war that had absolutely nothing to do with him, nor his profession, and that point killed his career. It didn't really kill it, but it set it back and didn't put him at the level to where he could have been, because he was also an activist, which, we need those nowadays. And if they wouldn't have killed that, there's no telling. And I believe he probably would still be alive if they wouldn't have, did whatever it was that they did. Which was, first of all, just setting him back for not going and fighting in a war that he didn't believe in.
Yeah, agree. What's your thoughts on this one, Post Game?
100%. This is one of the things, like, when I was younger, it pissed me off. This is one of the sports topics that pissed me off when I was younger. Because I feel like, had he not been robbed of those 3.5 years where he rode the bench, he go from the biggest athlete, the biggest star in the world, to sitting out 3.5 years. What we saw was, when he got back in the ring, first of all, this is a heavyweight that's moving like he's 150 pounds.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Rumble, young man, rumble.
Right.
So when he got back, he couldn't move his feet like he used to do. He wasn't as light. He wasn't as quick. And I personally felt like his big advantage fighting at heavyweight was his quickness, his foot speed, right? Yeah. That was gone. That was gone when he got back. He was a totally different fighter. So if you telling me he never takes those 3.5 years off, I don't know if he loses up until he gets to the latter part of his boxing career. Like the first fight with Smoking Joe, I don't think he loses that. So you talk about greatness, this guy would have reigned for even longer had he stayed active, he stayed boxing. His quickness wouldn't have left as quick because he's in the gym, he's fighting. So there's that. So if Muhammad Ali doesn't take those 3.5 years off, man, we see a whole nother level of greatness in heavyweight boxing, fellas.
Yeah, I agree. 110%. Yeah, man, it's crazy because the way you feel, Post, I felt the same way when I first, watched the story. And I was a big Malcolm X fan, so seeing, Ali at that time, what he went through, like you said, like T1 said, you talking about float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, 150, and him being a heavyweight. I don't even think, I mean, for us to talk about still this day, man, to the greatest, rest in peace, man, Ali, and what he did for boxing, for him to have those years off. Imagine if he would have had those years, what the boxing world would look like today. Who would be considered not just the greatest of all time, but what would that ranking look like? You got Ali, you got so many other greats in that time, to where we still talk about Ali, and he got robbed of 3 years of when he was moving into his prime. So it was just a great thing, to be blessed with what we were able to see. But then again, what we couldn't see was the biggest thing, I feel like, when it comes to thinking about Ali, his boxing career, and what he was to the boxing world and to the world itself, so much more. And we got one for you since we got Parlay Poe. We appreciate you tuning in, Parlay Poe, as well. And we're going to come your way right now. We coming right
but hold up, though, Moss. Hold up, though, Moss.
Any other thoughts, my friend?
Ali, real quick before we go, here's the real thing, though. it became bigger than boxing because Ali was educated. You know what I mean? Educated within life and about life. So what happened was they had to silence him. And that is where the biggest effect came in at. When they silenced Ali and put him away at a time when he was opening up eyes. So that's the biggest thing that happened with Ali. And that's why, I don't like how it the end part of his life was, because me personally, I trust pretty much no one in America now. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that something was done to that man at a time in his life where he was most powerful, and it affected the rest of his life and his career. Rest in peace to the Muhammad Ali.
Man, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any closing thoughts on this one, real quick, before we go to the next one?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I know a lot of people, like, if whoever's watching this, like, if you're not huge on boxing, like, it's not normal for a heavyweight to have the type of speed that Muhammad Ali, rest his soul, had. That's why him sitting out those years and losing that speed changed him as a fighter so much. So, I mean, for you to be that big, have that size, and have the speed like that, that's devastating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point, post game. Because he was just to be that big and be able to float like a butterfly, but sting like a bee. I mean, wow. Ali.
Rumble, young man, rumble. That boy,
He
I
was
don't,
fast. He said, post.
man,
That was a good point, because I mean, just his hand speed and his footwork was immaculate.
man. It's like I bet fighters really was watching his feet work and getting their head knocked off because they didn't know what to do. Sometimes I bet you a couple fighters could probably admit, like, yeah, I was watching his feet and got my head knocked off. It was just special to see, you know, what I was able to see, you know, but I could only imagine for those who seen him, man, like how special that was. Like just watching boxing and watching a man like that, family night together. So, man, shout out to those, man. And shout out to the great, like you said, T1. And it's good to see brother been tuning in all week for the past few weeks for a while with us now. Anthony Manzano, it's good to see you in here with us as well. And WTP said Ali is still the greatest. And Anthony Manzano, he said, why is it that people underrate how great of a boxer George Foreman was? Because it seems like people assume he was just a trash boxer in terms of his defense.
George Foreman was cold, so that would only come from somebody who didn't know nothing about boxing. George Foreman was the truth, and he just came with that power, like the
Yes,
power
sir.
that like some type of character or Jolly Green Giant or something. Like when I first saw him, I just saw straight power and strength. So anybody that doesn't give Foreman respect, they just never really watch boxing.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Any thoughts on this one, Post? We cooking up right now. Appreciate the comment, Mr. Manzano. Good to see you win again as well.
Listen, I can't speak for other people, but I just know, like, for myself, and I know T1 just hit on this. Like, he was ferocious. Okay,
Man,
he was ferocious,
a
man.
monster.
I don't think anybody would want to stand there and exchange blows. At least anybody I know would exchange blows with a prime George Foreman, even in the latter stages of his career. You know, him being so old and winning a championship. But
Yeah,
I mean, that dude was a devastating puncher. I think he's one of the greatest heavyweights ever.
yeah.
I don't
I
I
agree.
don't I don't underrate him at all.
Great post game.
Yeah, I
What's that?
totally agree.
Oh, he
Go
said he
ahead,
with
T.
it.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, Mr. Mazzano, because I don't know why people would think that Foreman is not good in any way. He was a guy I watched. I think, it was that fight with Riddick Bowe back in the day. I remember watching. I remember watching quite a few George Foreman fights, man. And when you talking about George Foreman, just think of seeing a guy that size. Some say undersized and whatnot, slow, no defense. You could say Charles Barkley and George Foreman, two in their sport that everyone feared. You're not gonna get on that court and say nothing disrespectful to Chuck. You're not gonna get in that ring and not get hit by with a left hook or a right hook by Foreman. That's just it. So I see the next comment and he said, "No, this is coming from boxing fans, hardcore ones at that." Everybody has their own opinion. But for us, we like what George was doing in that ring. And don't forget, many that might say this definitely use that Foreman grill, made them some burgers in the summertime, even if the winter, if they get down like me and my family. But, that's topic for another day, man, that Foreman grill. Can't mention Foreman without the grill.
Let me remind people, like when it was announced Ali and Foreman were going to fight, people were scared for Ali's life going against George Foreman.
Right. Yeah. Because he hit so hard. Like, I got Foreman, like, definitely, for me, like we say, everybody have their own opinion. But, like, my top three, like, for real, is Ali, Tyson, and Foreman. And, I rock with that top three against anybody, because you're going to get power, you're going to get footwork, and then you're going to get a sledgehammer. And then another sledgehammer.
And he underrated. And I think Foreman's underrated. And, of course, we might have seen the defense that people say, but I think he's the underrated fighter. I couldn't even really see the flaw as much as everybody would say with the defense, if that makes sense, because of how great of a fighter he was. That's just my opinion. And Anthony Manzano came in with another comment as well. Appreciate these comments as well. And he said, and I think that line of thinking comes from because they're comparing him to Smoke and Joe and Muhammad, who were elite boxers in terms of their footwork. Got a great point. Definitely
I like
got
that,
a great point
but
there.
I will say this for anybody who doesn't know who George Foreman is. I would like to know, outside of Tyson and Ali, like, who would you put ahead of George Foreman in his prime that would want to go up against George Foreman in his prime?
Man.
For any viewers out there that are not George Foreman believers and think that he may not be in the top five, who y'all think who y'all gonna put above him outside of Tyson and Ali in his prime, that he wouldn't go in there and catch him with one of them haymakers that he brought back from Mississippi and he'd be connected with you? You about to go see Jesus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And another one, he said, it's hilarious. You should bring that up. My generation says Tyson Fury will dominate George. We gonna Anthony Mazzano, definitely tap into the WTPSportsDudes.com. Send us an email. Unc is in the chat. Definitely send him an email. We could get you on the show. We could set something up, because we got some boxing shows that we definitely want to attack with more talks as well. And Unc, we appreciate you tuning in this evening as well through your busy schedule. And he said he probably definitely outside of most people's top 5 to 10. Man,
but Fury, he bullied people because he was so big. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, wasn't nobody gonna bully George Foreman. I'm sorry. You're not gonna bully him, and if you get caught slipping, you're going night-night. And he knew how to play defense. He can get up in there and rock with you and cover himself. That's the part of boxing that people don't think about, is the defensive part. Like that gypsy genie, whatever they call him or whatnot, he's mainly offensive. You got to think about that defensive part of the game. And them old school cats knew how to cover themselves up and defend and wait and wait for that shot and lay you.
And that's a great point. Let me add this too, man. Fury lacks punching power.
Mm, talk
Fury
that
lacks punching power, man. I think a
talk.
more comparable heavyweight would be maybe a Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was bad.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was bad, but I'm taking Prime George all day. Prime George gonna put Lennox down.
oh yeah, I'll take Prime George, but I think he would be a better.
Lennox was cold though.
He
But I
would,
feel you.
yeah,
I get what you're saying completely. Because Lennox was a great heavyweight fighter, and
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
put nothing past him. He was a great heavyweight fighter, regardless of who he went in there in the ring with. He was going to perform, and you was going to be happy with the outcome and his performance. So I'm rocking with that.
I agree. I agree. And we appreciate everyone tuning in this evening, rocking with the guys here at WTP Sports Dudes, post game, MossBurgh, City League TV. And we see you in the building, Parlay Poe. And we're going to say rest in peace to one of the GOATs of your team, that Go Blue, that Michigan squad. And I was thinking about it. There's a lot of thoughts in the chat. What if Roy Tarpley? And I put the question mark because there's so many things, so many talks. I like respectively talking about someone, understanding, we have our opinions and things, but rest in peace to a great, in my opinion. I really looked at Tarpley, seen everything and looked at so much. I just say, man, I wish I would have been able to see him up close with my own eyes. And I think this is a great that will always be etched in Michigan history forever. What's y'all's thoughts on Roy Tarpley? And the thoughts and the talks was, what if he didn't have these issues with the drugs and things like that? So, I kind of leave that out the window. But what's your thoughts when we talk about Roy Tarpley, that great big man at Michigan?
I just like to give big props to Tarpley and what he did for the game of basketball. Great player. Not an all-time great, but we know about him because we know his name because he went in and put in the work. So, RIP, condolences to the family and everything. And, appreciate everything that he gave to the game. Like everybody that go out there and play, they get their all. And that's one of the players that gave their all and they put in work and gave cats buckets.
Yes, yes, yes. What's your thoughts on this one post game?
yeah. I mean, I echo what he said, man. Rest in peace to him. This guy was a 6'11", what 230, 230-pound power forward. Did great things at the University of Michigan. Got a Big Ten championship. I believe he was Player of the Year. Double machine, man. Double machine, and just couldn't overcome the demons. To stay in the NBA and compete against the power forwards of that time. You think about a young Charles Barkley, a young Karl Malone. I think he would have been right there. First team All NBA rookie, or yeah, first team All rookie team. So I would imagine had he got himself together, and I wish he would have. He would have been right there with those guys.
I agree. And, for me, I agree with what both of you said. The double machine, like you said, the big man and what he did at Michigan, T1. Because when I seen him, I was like, wow, you go from 5 points a game as a freshman, and at a senior, you averaging 20, rebounding off the charts. And like you said, Post, it's tough when you had different demons inside of you. And, well wishes to the family, because I'm not trying to say anything negative. We not trying to say anything negative. It's just good to see some of the great history that we actually blessed that, for me, I wasn't able to see. And when I looked at this resume, when you go to the University of Michigan and you start for your last 2 years, regardless of what class you win, 61 of 63, and you don't play because of an injury in those couple games, that let me know how great of a player you were. And it's just good to see that the years and what he did while at the University of Michigan. So for me, it was just something special, and watching what he did. And WTP chimed in with us this evening as he's been watching throughout the show. And he said, He said I was Roy. He said I was Roy Tarpley Poe on Parlay Poe's basketball court and backyard. The real Tarpley was unstoppable, and so was I, with the laughing emojis. And Unc was definitely a hooper. I'm one at my age. I was able to be one of the young guys to play with him and benefit from a lot, just being on this team, getting the ball, and so many things. But yeah, I totally agree with Unc. I know Parlay Poe might be watching, seeing if he had a comment coming right to yours as well, Anthony.
Hey,
Any other
y'all,
closing
I
thoughts?
was 53 years old when I knew that Roy Tarpley was came from Michigan.
Yeah, yeah. I being in
So,
this group. Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. My bad. My bad.
no, I said that's what's up. I ain't know where I knew of him in the NFL. I mean NBA. That's why I know of him from the NBA. So y'all giving him his blue accolades and all of that stuff. I never knew it because I don't care much about him.
Yeah. And then when you speak of the NBA, the crazy thing is, you go from 7.5 points your first year. In that fourth year, you at 20.4.
He
That's
was,
it.
he was definitely he was, and like I said, from the average fan, that's
Yeah.
where you got to know Roy Tarpley. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he gave them buckets. So if you was a fan of basketball, you couldn't do nothing but respect that man out there on that court. He gave
Yes,
whoever
sir.
he was going up against buckets. So all due respect. And once again, rest in peace.
Yes, sir. Stabilized vision. Appreciate you in the building. Appreciate you in the building. That's a nephew, part of the WTP, part of that Brown family as well, man. And it's good to see him and the work he do. Make sure you tap in to Stabilize Vision, man. That's Zyrone Brown, man. I go in, I watch so much craft that he do City League TV. It makes me want to get better at what I do. So I'm glad that he's in here, seeing what he do and his vision with Stable Eyes just give MossBurgh that continuous effort to know that he can continue to do what he's doing and be at a different level one day. As I've watched Stable Eyes grow from the concrete jungle and where he's at now, man. It's good to see you in here. And Mr.
So,
Mazzano, go ahead. Okay. Coming to Mr. Mazzano, he said another what if for me, and I seen the ones you had previously, and we going like I said, I want you to definitely tap in because what you dropping in here, Mr. Mazzano, like you did the other day, is some Jews, and I greatly appreciate those Jews you giving us in here as well because I want to set up a show with you, get a live interview talks like we said with Justin, Miami, and some other guys at that Miami Hurricane side as well. Another what if he said if Arvydas Sabonis had came into the NBA a lot sooner than he did, he was past it by the time he came in. I watched the story on Arvydas. He was supposed to come in about 3-4 years sooner and be pretty much changing the NBA at that time to where you really seen these big men from, Europe and different countries. I can't think of exactly where Arvydas Sabonis is right off the back. That's my boy's guy. But he was a special gem. Any thoughts on this one, fellas?
I mean, he played in Portland, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I don't feel like he came in too late or nothing. When he came in, he put in work. I would have to give him the same respect that I just gave Roy. Sabonis came in and put work in the NBA, and that Portland team was pretty good all the years that he was there. They just wasn't able to get up over that hump. So I got big props for Sabonis.
I give Sabonis big props as well. But had Arvidas came into the NBA earlier, when he got to the
How
NBA,
earlier? What do y'all mean earlier? I thought it came in and put in work and everything was fine. What do y'all mean by earlier?
he did come in and put in work, T1. You absolutely right. He put in
Yeah,
work. But I'm saying, had he got in there 5 years earlier while he was still in his prime, Shaq dominated Arvidas. Had that
yeah,
been 5 years earlier, I think, of course, Shaq gonna get his. But Arvidas would have made that matchup very interesting. And I'll say this: if you think Jokic is a great passer, which he is,
man.
I think Arvidas was a better passer.
Sabonis was he was all around cold. But I'm a little confused with it's not really an argument. We're just having a discussion about if he came in 5 years earlier, because if he did come in 5 years earlier, he may not have been mature to the point to where he was when he was at that 5th year when he came to the NBA, because the NBA is it's a different game. So, and then with him coming in and dominating like that, I just will have to say that, we all gonna say you never know, because he may have came in too early and wasn't able to develop more and get past the ceiling where he was at. So, just from what I saw, I thought he came in probably at the perfect time for him and his development and what he was able to do on that court, because he still played double-digit years in the NBA, correct? Well, sure, he played over 10, and that Portland team was great because of him. So what if he would have came in a little early, and it would have stunted his development and where he was able to be and have that longevity in the NBA. So that's just where me. I don't always like going against the grain, but I ain't got no problem with it. You understand what I'm saying? Post game, but
100%.
you know.
100%. No. I mean, the thing is though, when he got to the league, he was already 30, going on 31. He had lost. If you remember, his knees were always wrapped up. He couldn't move like he was moving years before overseas. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The difference would be like he could actually move back then. About time he got to the NBA, he had lost a lot of that athleticism.
And he could have lost that quicker if he came to the NBA 5 years sooner, at the age of 25, and got beat up a little bit, something that he wasn't used to when he was over there overseas. And you never know. That's why I say I think he had a great career and came in when he was supposed to come in, because it may not have been as successful if he'd came in a little earlier, although he would have been much more talented.
Yeah, I agree. I like that one. And it was
great.
Just
I like that one too.
Definitely, man. And we gonna keep it cooking, man. We got some good ones up here, and I was trying to throw one in for everybody. I don't think I got yours in on the chat, T1. I'm glad you were here, because you might be able to cook with some fish grease for a couple minutes on this one, because I'm gonna come at you with one here in a few. But I'm coming at WTP Sports Dudes. What if Colt McCoy didn't get hurt in 2009, Texas versus Alabama? Look at you, Unc. I know you ready to cook with fish grease on this one, because y'all got them horns here in some months. Y'all already prepping over there at the shoot for it. I hope you ain't fall asleep on us talking about these horns.
I'm asleep.
I
don't know what happened, but I'm asleep. I don't know what just happened. Colt McCoy, Texas, 2020, 2026. I don't know what just happened right now. I think we just got I don't know what just happened to our podcast right now.
It's some more into this one, because for me, it's been some changing.
What if Colt McCoy? Like that's where we got to get together. And right here, I'm throwing that question up out of here. That question ain't hitting this podcast.
You know why it's going to hit this podcast? Because it's MossBurgh. And this literally changed Texas and their program. You got to think, when Texas lost this game, who got their first national championship? Saban. What did Saban do after this over at Alabama? Build a dynasty. What did Texas go through? Losing seasons. Talk to me post game. What's your thoughts on this one?
I think they would have defeated Alabama in the national championship game. It would have been a close game, but I think ultimately Colt McCoy and the Longhorns would have prevailed. And our man Rob of WTP Sports Dudes probably would have did a few backflips, jumped through the roof, would have had to get roof repairs because he jumping like Jordan because Texas won the chip. that season. But it would have changed a lot of things. Maybe Saban doesn't get that momentum he needs to have the crazy recruiting classes moving forward. Maybe it takes a little more time to develop that dynasty in Alabama. So it would have changed a lot of things. That Texas team has some players on it, man. I believe that's the team with Earl Thomas, right, Moss? Y'all
Yes,
remember?
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Earl
I
Thomas.
personally think, and then for him to go out so early in the game, I believe it would have been a back and forth close game. And at the end of the game, Texas would have pulled it out.
So let's do this. Let's say that there's no tuck rule. Tom Brady got sacked against the Raiders. The game was absolutely over. There is no first Super Bowl. There's no nothing if that happens. It didn't happen. I would love. I was a Raider fan, but I still was Bengals and Browns back then. But Raiders and Steelers were my first love. Those were my first teams before I knew that I was from Ohio and I should be rooting for my teams. But those were my first teams, and that like still haunts me as a young Raiders fan because if you take that out of the equation, there is no dynasty for New England. And then we can fast forward some other years and take some airs and put some extra air into the ball and take away cameras and do all of this and all of that. The dynasties are going to be what the dynasties are. Whoever they want to start this dynasty, they're going to make sure that they start the dynasty. And ain't nothing nobody can do about it.
I'm 1,000,000% behind you on that tuck rule. That was the biggest bowl of BS they ever fed the people.
The game was over. The game was absolutely over.
Absolutely over.
Because of that call right there, they were able to win their first of many Super Bowls.
Facts.
Yeah.
And
the
that
next
wasn't
one,
anybody getting injured.
yeah.
Sorry
I
to
agree.
switch it up a little bit, but
No.
when I hear the ifs and buts, my high school basketball coach, Dick Ricketts, 88 and 90, if ifs and buts was candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day. First time I ever heard it was from that man.
Yes, sir. But not, one thing with me, man, I love when we get on here because we could just do what we do. The what ifs is always good with MossBurgh. So when you chiming in with the what if, I might have had something to say about the same what if. And when you bring that in on the Flatergate, that was one me and post game definitely wanted to, itch our way back into sometime because we definitely have like a slew of them. But I try to, I don't know, it'd be some tough, some I want to jump to. But at the end of the day, I definitely like that one as well. And for mine, and WTP, he did come in, he chimes in, he said, Texas blows Bama out. They had no answer for shit.
Oh my goodness, man. You know what? I totally
Y'all wonder
forgot
why
that
I brought
team.
this on here. Y'all forget this Colt McCoy team beat Ohio State.
I totally
something
forgot
before
that
that.
team had Will Shipley, man. I totally
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
But time out. Well, y'all want to go back to Colt and all that, and we can do all of the what ifs in the world that we want to. So everybody want to forget just a few years ago, there was a play that happened in the end zone in that Ohio State and Georgia game when it was clearly a personal foul, and that defensive player from Georgia should have been thrown out the game, and Ohio State would have had the ball at about the 1 yard line. Like, we don't want to talk about no ifs and ands and buts where that was supposed to be Ryan Day's first national championship. Y'all better stop it. And everybody watched the game. Everybody saw Jeremiah Smith get absolutely clobbered in a defensive position. The commentator said, yep, he's out of there. It's going down. But since the almighty ones of the sports world said we're not going to do it, and this wasn't even an injury, and y'all going to bring an injury in front of Mr. Columbus, Mr. Buckeye, Mr. OH to the I to the Izzo, and y'all want to talk about some Texas dude that was hurt? and we got our player knocked out the game. And if you do that, we up like 24 points, and there's absolutely no way for you to come back. Y'all better stop it. Don't start with me. I've been chilling. We've been talking about boxing. We've been chilling. We've been talking about BYU. So we've been chilling. And y'all don't get me started, man.
When it comes to this Texas and Colt McCoy, listen to me real quick. They not only was 16-21 after this, they're just now getting their feet back under a whole new head coach, Sark. This is years later. This is over 15 years later that a team is just now getting themselves back in position. You know, Charlie Strong couldn't do it. Nothing against the people they brought in, but you seen the domino effect. Like you said, Saban went and built the dynasty during that time. So you got to think when you play Alabama, they're going to add its smoke.
Who built it, or did they build it?
He built it with the players that he brought in, and the players bought into what Nick Saban, you know, was doing at Alabama. I think, you know, that's just my opinion. I think he built something great. It was already what it was before he got there. He watched and learned so much. So that's what I would say with that one for myself. Outside of that, I do have one for you, T1, but I'm gonna wait for a minute. I'm gonna wait for 1 minute, and I'm gonna go to one.
I'm a little heated right now, and I'm ready to get excited.
What if for you, since we got the Buckeye in the building, and I'm gonna come to you last. What if Ohio State played Michigan in the COVID season? It's been on my mind. You know, I thought about it a lot. You know, I know we've talked about it. What if Ohio State played Michigan in the COVID season? It was talks they didn't have enough players, all these other things. What if they played them?
There's a reason why Michigan didn't want to play, and it is what it is. And that's enough for real people to know and understand what really happened. Michigan said, "No, we're not going to do this," and that's what happened. And we didn't get to play the game.
What's your thoughts on this one, folks? Just throwing that one in there real quick.
Man, what if Ohio State and Michigan played that year?
And mind you, Ryan Day said he was going to hang 100 on her hairball.
Oh, hairball.
Because they was going. Hey, look, they was going to go. And look, it was like the beef was real, and he was like, "I'm gonna hang 100," and they bowed out like, "Nah, we sick." The dog ate our playbook. Unheard of. Ohio State, Michigan. I don't care if you got 11 walk-ons out there. You play that game. Stop playing around, man.
Well, there you go. You heard it from the Big Ten guy himself. So there
the next one. The next one, if I had, and you know, before we get out of here, this was the last one I have for such a slight short selection this week. Because I'm gonna switch it up a little bit next week, but this week just had a slight selection on a few. What if Drew Brees did not leave San Diego? What if he didn't leave San Diego to go to New Orleans? What's your thoughts on this one? I'm gonna come to you first, Post. What's your thoughts on this one? Drew Brees, San Diego, New Orleans.
They probably still are the San Diego Chargers, for one, if Drew Brees doesn't leave. You think about LaDainian Tomlinson, Drew Brees, and Antonio Gates at tight end, along with the receivers they were able to draft that were really good. Their defense being solid. I believe that the San Diego Chargers, with a healthy Drew Brees, would have won a Super Bowl. One of the dumbest things ever was them letting Drew Brees get to New Orleans.
Man, once again, y'all know me. Probably didn't see it at the beginning, but that San Diego squad, I mean, they were nice. Freak injury, send him to New Orleans. New Orleans get the hurricane. New Orleans get a Super Bowl. Drew Brees, 6-foot quarterback, gets a Super Bowl. I don't know why they do things the way they do it and how they do it, but I'll just be watching sports now.
Chimed in. He said that it would have been the same, and I just, for me, I feel the same as far as in like just seeing him leave. You know, like you said, I don't think they would have changed their name if he stayed. They definitely still that same team, but I don't think they've gotten over that hump really. If you think about it, New Orleans has gotten the Super Bowl. They've been in position, I would say, multiple times. San Diego have gotten the LA Chargers now have gotten these draft picks, have gotten Justin Herbert. I don't know if that's their way of looking back on that. I have no idea, but I think when you look at some of the moves that's made when it comes to one like this, whether it's an injury as well, even I think it can, change the alter, it could alter the organization, the team. You could have that setback. And some organizations have been set back for quite a while from different moves that they've made. They just haven't been able to get back to their normal self. And Mr. Mazzano, he said it would have made no difference. They would have still drafted Phillip Rivers with Drew on the roster.
But that's what I was thinking. Like, even when Drew left, they had Rivers come in, and they were still a functioning team. They wasn't a bottom dweller or anything like that. The Chargers were still a functioning team that was making it to the playoffs. And for real, at the end of the day, that's all the owners care about. They want to make that money. They want to make it to the playoffs, and I believe they know who winning the Super Bowl.
So Anthony, my man, you telling me if Drew Brees was healthy, they would have still been in position to draft Phillip Rivers?
No, absolutely not.
That would have been tough. I don't think that would have been any way, for them to make that drive at that point. And you could go ahead. We got Mr. Manzano. He said he got a what if for you for Ohio State, T1. We just waiting for him to get that what if real quick. But as you
Come on with
getting
it.
that in, we definitely appreciate everyone tuning in. My shout out to you guys, man. I appreciate y'all coming in, man, this evening. Joining your boy MossBurgh on part 4 of the What If Wednesday series, and looking to try to see what everybody's schedule gonna be like in the coming weeks. See how the NASCAR is actually going. Because I want to definitely jump in some of these different streams we've been having throughout the busy schedule, myself. And like you said, T1, we definitely going to get together because we might have to go see some of the boys' high school volleyball this season over at the land.
My schedule is crazy, and I'm hoping that at the very least to be able to hopefully I'll get the championship information, and if I don't get to make it out, which I really would like to be able to make it out to, if not a couple of these games, but people don't know what it takes to get out here and be out here from August all the way to like March and burning up all of this gas and stuff and burning up all of this energy, man. Hey, that took a whole lot up out of me, man.
Yes, sir, man. I definitely agree, man. Make sure y'all tune in, man. Y'all hit us, man. All the proceeds, man, to go to what we do and what we bring into you, the people, not just of our city, but all across the world when it comes to those sports streams you seeing on City League TV, Level Up Sports Town. We're gonna be sending and working with some with post game. Hopefully, I could get there this summer, this spring into the summer, and be in Indiana this year, which we already been talking about as well. And T1, we coming straight at you. We talking about 2001 in the building. Hold on, T1. Let me drop a little ball
That's
for
when
you,
my son was born, man. That was a beautiful year, man. What y'all want to talk about?
Mr. Manzano, he said, what were they thinking when they called the abominable pass interference call? Miami Hurricanes versus Ohio State Buckeyes.
I mean, they slowed it down. Just Miami just got excited. They slowed it down, and they showed the defender already had Gamble wrapped up before the ball was even anywhere in his vicinity to catch it. Miami just prematurely got excited, and I mean, it was a great game. But guess what happened after that? Miami had an opportunity to go and extend the overtime. That's what people, when they want to talk about it, they forget that part. Like, you had the same opportunity that we had. So we had the opportunity to extend overtime. We went and did that. You know what I mean? And then they gave them the opportunity to extend it in overtime, and they wasn't able to do it. Our defense stood tall, and there was nothing that they could do.
Yeah, that's one for the ages, man.
Same thing we did against Texas when it wasn't even overtime, but we were at it was a crucial moment in that game, and our defense stood up. It don't matter what you talk about, anything that went on or happened in a game. Do what you're supposed to do, and see what happens. And our defense stood strong, and we was able to get that national championship that everybody thought Miami was going to get. Everybody thought that this was the best college football team that anybody had ever seen. And, we put an end to that. And I got my story to where, it was years later, and I'm talking like 20 years later. I'm in Miami. I got my Ohio State stuff on. And a cat rode down the street in a big white Suburban. I don't know if OJ was in there with him or whatnot, but he told me, you don't want to be walking around here with that on. So I went and changed into some XK stuff. I got up out of it. I kept my Scarlet on, but I went and took it off. I took heed to what he was saying because he looked big in the truck. So a lot of people lost a lot of money in that game, and that's what people don't understand about them Miami folk in that game, how much money was lost. There was millions, if not billions of dollars put on Miami repeating and being the best college football team in college football history. They lost a lot of money and they were mad. And years later, I was told to take my stuff off, and I took it off because I was out of Ohio. I was in enemy territory. I went straight back to my Airbnb. I took it off, put me on some XK stuff, and went on about my business.
They asked you to respect it or check it with T1.
Hey, listen here. I ain't had no problems with it. I ain't had not one problem with it. And like I told you, dude, look, just the way the dude said it, and how he looked. It looked like everything was going in slow motion. You know what I mean? He driving down the street, dog. I'm walking. Me and my current wife or girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, we walking down the street about to go get something to eat, and dude just like, yo, I don't know if you know where you at, but you might want to take that off. And I did not take more than 3 seconds to turn around and say, hey babe, let's go back to this room. Let me get on up out of here, because I know they lost a lot of money with that. They lost so much money, it's not even funny, man. They're still sick to it to this day. And that win that they just got this year wasn't enough to soothe them, but it was enough to allow them to talk some smack and say we beat Ohio State.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anthony Mazzano, we see all the comments coming in. And like I said, man, the ones that you got, I'm actually in the works of making a what if, and I'm going with the what if injury, with the injury series of some of the injuries we had, because I know I've been mixing it up throughout the shows with different sports throughout the what if series this past 3-4 weeks now. And I definitely want to go into, respecting those with the injuries, giving it a little feel before we go into that show, because we know some of those injuries derail people's careers. We know some of them are no longer with us. So just want to respect that show wholeheartedly, and how we go into handling and talking about that show. Outside of that, did anyone have anything else that they had to say before we get out of here this evening?
Hey, I just want to give you and Post Game y'all's props. You I'm like in and out. I'm a very busy man. Y'all already know I'm the man in many hats. I got a whole lot of jobs and stuff, and I have a whole lot of things going on. So I'm not on here as much as I would love to be, but I'm just loving all the setup. I'm loving all the setups. You got the headphones on, you crystal clear, background code. I see post game. He got the money microphone in there. He's sounding crystal clear. Everything looks good, and it looked like we on our way to doing what we're supposed to be doing, looking the way we're supposed to be looking, sounding the way we're supposed to be sounding, man. And I'm just excited about what the future holds for these WTP sports dudes and the whole family, man. And y'all looking good, man. Y'all looking good. Y'all sounding good.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate it. Mr. Mazzano, he said, we will be doing a NFL. I was about to get to you, man. This weekend, appreciate you post game. We got that NFL draft stream coming to you live, 9 a.m. When I say you need to have your coffee at 8:30, you need to have it brewing at 8:15. You need to have your setup going because we coming to you live at 9 a.m. Saturday. As for MossBurgh, I'm gonna jump in and out the stream that day. I might have to mute my mic and go live from KT's Eats because we're gonna be cooking up this weekend, another good weekend with what we've been doing with KT's Good Eats, man. And we appreciate everything you bring to the show and do for us as well as everybody else, man. You see all the names at the bottom. T1, as SEC Sean did yesterday, man, I like the way he gave everybody that open mic before we got out of here. So as we do and make things better by, diving in, you get better by doing things that you see could to make it better, man. I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna give Post the floor, and then I'm gonna say a few things, and we're gonna get up out of here for the evening, man. And we appreciate everybody tuning in and staying with us this evening. I'm gonna start with you, Post. Anything you want to tell the people? I know tomorrow is Thursday evening.
Yeah, tomorrow, Thursday evening, 7:45, same place, same times. We playing Respect It or Check It. Make sure y'all here. Y'all don't want to miss it. Salute to T1. I appreciate those words, man. You the seasoning to the noodle packet, man. So we would love to have you back on as much as possible. We know you busy. To Anthony Mazzano, we really appreciate you. But I would ask what would have happened if Salvador Lopez didn't die. I think he would be just as great of a boxer. But other than that, man, my man MossBurgh, I appreciate you like always. Great show. Keep grinding, my man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, we just gonna keep on doing what we do. Y'all see everything that's strolling down at the bottom. And I don't know why they ain't fixed it yet, but City League TV is also on YouTube, just like all of our other platforms. But we're not so much concerned with that just yet. But we will be getting this thing kicked off before the start of the new school year with bigger and better live action highlights, highlight clips, stats, and all of them great things, man. So just follow everybody down there at the bottom and continue to support us and show us love.
Yes, sir, man. As he said, man, appreciate the words, man. It's like I said, man, it's a blessing, man. You come into the room with people and things happen, and I feel we're gonna be shaking so many rooms in the years to come, man, as we already do when we get on here and do what we do best, something that, we felt and found the love, having talking our sports amongst each other. And for all those coaches out there in the City League, if you've came across City League TV, tap in with him. We trying to get a coach's corner talk. Coach Jones from International, I appreciate you tapping that line this morning.
Oh my God.
We're gonna definitely, yes, sir. We're gonna definitely get it situated. And I can't do it without you, City League. I can't do this show without you, because as much veteran that you bring to the building, as many games have you already been to, the coaches know who you are. Some know who Moss is.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. It's gonna go down.
Man. Definitely. And we appreciate the busyness, man. Definitely, man. And we appreciate how busy you've been out there. And as you always do, man, you taking us out this evening. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow night. Check it or respect it.
Y'all know the deal. WTP Sports Dudes. We was in the building. Now we up out of here, y'all. Peace out. We love y'all, and it ain't nothing you could do about it.
Yes, sir.